On August 11, 1988, the brand new Charlotte Coliseum was opened with a dedication by the late Reverend Billy Graham. The architects, the Odell Associates, claimed to have built the state-of-the-art venue. But a day after the dedication, the United States Olympic basketball team was scheduled for an exhibition game at the arena. But the large 8-sided video scoreboard costing $3.2 million crashed to the floor in an attempt of positioning it. An alternate floor from a different arena in the Charlotte area was to replace the damaged floor for the game. And that's how the Charlotte Coliseum began its existence. A dedication by Billy Graham and the scoreboard crashing onto the floor. What a way to start.
To Middleton. Middleton puts up the jumper. Puts it in! Chris Middleton, another clutch shot of these.
In the mid-1980s, the NBA began a bloom of expansion teams that will begin operations by the 88-89 season. Those teams will be the Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, and a team in Charlotte. The Orlando Magic we already covered on this channel. Businessman George Shinn, who made his money on entrepreneurship, wanted to bring a team to the Charlotte area. Shinn, a North Carolina native from Kannapolis. That's how it was pronounced. Kannapolis. Saw that the city of Charlotte was growing and also saw that the city has been a hotbed for college basketball. And this was not the first time a professional basketball team would be in Charlotte. Going back to the days of the ABA, the Carolina Cougars once occupied multiple cities in the state, playing in Greensboro, Charlotte, and Raleigh from 1969 to 1974, before the team moved from North Carolina to St. Louis, Missouri, and became the Spirits of St. Louis in 1974. Shinn's plan to get an NBA team into Buzz City was to build a state-of-the-art arena that would seat 24,000 visitors. It would become the largest basketball arena in the NBA ever at the time. And keep in mind, towards the late 1980s, established teams such as the Pistons, Bucks, and other teams were building new arenas that would claim to be bigger and more advanced. So Shinn was trying to hop on that train. Now, the team name, well, here's the thing. They didn't name the team the Hornets because the Hornets supposedly were in the area. You know, those annoying... Are Hornets even bugs? Anyways, the nickname actually originates from when the British General Cornwallis allegedly described the city as a hornet's nest of rebellion after the Battle of Charlotte in 1780. See, just a little tribute, but keep moving on. I didn't even know that was the reason why they called it the Hornets. That's the first time. But construction will begin on 100 Paul Boulevard in August 1986. 100 Paul Boulevard. Sounds like a tongue twister. Anyways, finishing 2 years later in August 11, 1988, at a cost of $52 million. That will be $142 million today. Naming it the Charlotte Coliseum, even though there was an arena already called the Charlotte Coliseum at the time that was located on the other side of the city. That arena is now called Bojangles Coliseum, a slightly smaller arena located east side of the city. Also, that's where the alternative floor came from for the Olympic game. With the new Charlotte Coliseum's large capacity, some thought the arena would be too large, but that was proven wrong. Despite its large capacity, claimed to be state-of-the-art, the arena had fewer luxury suites than other arenas popping up around the time, and that's going to bite the arena in the ass later on. Yes, it will. The Charlotte Hornets played their first game in the arena on November 4th, 1988 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. A loss. 133-93. And on the roster for the team in the team's first season will be the likes of Muggsy Bogues, Rex Chapman, Dale Curry, Steph and Seth's father, of course, Kurt Rambis, and coached by Dick Hawthorne. They finished the season 20-62 in the East. Their first home victory was against the Los Angeles Clippers on November 8th for a score of 117-105. The Hive, as the college team was nicknamed, will lead in the NBA attendance for the first 8 of the 9 seasons, selling out 371 consecutive games. And the crowds in that arena were loud. I think it was rumored that they actually had a humming or buzzing sound in the arena during games. And for the dummies that continue to say Jordan played in an expansion area, the Charlotte Hornets were approved to become a playoff team by 1992-93 season, winning 44 games, and played in the 93 Eastern Conference semifinals, losing to the Knicks in 5 games, with the likes of Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues leading the way for the Hornets. And they continued to be a playoff team for most of the decade. Actually, it was pretty much a playoff team up until they got the hell up out of there and moved to New Orleans. But now, in 1991, the Charlotte Coliseum will host its first and only NBA All-Star game, with the East winning 116-114. Charles Barkley was the MVP. Now, there will be other tenants in this arena, such as the Charlotte 49ers, the University of Charlotte. I think it's called actually University of North Carolina at Charlotte, from 1988 to 1993 until they found a new home at the Dale F. Halton Arena. The Charlotte Rage and Cobras, 2 AFL teams, football. The Charlotte Sting of the WNBA from 1997 to 2005. And of course, the Charlotte Bobcats for 1 season. Other notable events taking place in the arena would be WWE's Unforgiven in 1999, Judgment Day in 2003, the Sun Belt Conference in 1989, the men's 1994 Final Four, and the 1996 women's Final Four. The first concert in the arena will be Frank Sinatra. And also, this arena will make appearances in films such as Eddie, He Got Game, Joanna Man, and a venue for the 2000s comedy, The Original Kings of Comedy. So that's a lot I just said. But what was the downfall of the arena? What put this arena in dirt? Well, that lies with the owner of the team, George Shinn. Now, he did not make good decisions at all. One of them, of course, being the arena's lack of luxury amenities. But worse was the SAA allegations towards him that were reported in 1997. Shinn would go on trial that would damage his reputation since the trial aired on Court TV in 1999, drawing up high ratings for the network. Now, this was one of the reasons for the downfall of the Hornets' first stint in Carolina. The Hornets were still successful in the league somewhat. But since this is Charlotte, North Carolina, in the Bible Belt, and hearing about Shinn's adultery, the fans soured on the owners big time, and therefore the attendance began to drop. Plus, like I said, Shinn did not make good decisions. Bad moves like letting Alonzo Mourning walk to Miami and Larry Johnson heading to New York, fan favorites did not help out as well. Terrible. Plus, Shinn himself was starting to hate the arena for the lack of luxury seats. Thus, Shinn wanted a new arena, but the city of Charlotte said, hell no. No new arena. Shinn would move the team out of the city. His decisions either moved to Memphis, which didn't work at the time. We should already know why that didn't work, because this is around the same time the Grizzlies decided they wanted out in Vancouver. Other cities that were up, Norfolk, Louisville, and St. Louis, which had an arena set to go in the Enterprise Center, formerly known as the Savas Center. Plus, the media market was bigger in St. Louis. But no, it wouldn't work in St. Louis, because the St. Louis Blues were a priority in scheduling games, so uptown Charlotte became an option. But nah, that didn't work either, because of the city's politics, and they did not want Shinn attached to the team or the arena for his bad behavior. And when I mean city politics, a lot went on. That would probably expand the time of this video a little bit too much. So the Hornets requested to move to New Orleans. For the NBA would return to the city the first time since 1979 after the Jazz moved out to Utah. The NBA approved Shinn to move out but promised the city of Charlotte a new team soon, just to avoid the fiasco similar to what the Cleveland Browns suffered several years earlier. The end of the days for the Charlotte Hornets, the original Charlotte Hornets, in that arena would come to a close after the 2002 season. Actually, Charlotte Hornets' last season was the 2001-2002 season. They would finish the season 44-38, beating the Orlando Magic in 4 games before losing to the New Jersey Nets in 5. The arena did not have an NBA team for 2 seasons until the Charlotte Bobcats were born. The Bobcats were trash. In their first season in the arena, and only season in the Hive, they went 18 for 64. Then eventually the Bobcats would move to Uptown, finding a new home in the Time Warner Cable Arena, aka Charlotte Bobcats Arena, aka now the Spectrum Center. One of the last functions of the Charlotte Coliseum, it was a shelter for victims of Hurricane Katrina. The irony behind that one. On October 26, 2005, actually a couple of days before the closure of Six Flags Astroworld, I don't know why I thought about that, the city of Charlotte closed the Coliseum and was demolished on June 3rd, 2007 by 550 pounds of explosive. By 2013, the Coliseum and all the parking lots except for one were demolished. But the streets leading to the grounds high dry still remained. What replaced the Charlotte Coliseum? Well, a mixed-use development will be construction on the former site called City Park by an Atlanta-based developer called Popeman Land, who bought the land from the city. The development consists of townhouses, apartments, hotels, and restaurants. But there is a plaque honoring the arena that is placed in front of the development. With the arena only being, at the time, less than 20 years old, I would say quite shocking that the arena was blown to smithereens. But then again, lacking functions that needed in an NBA arena, especially when it compared to the Spectrum Center, who had more. Plus, in today's age, NBA arenas tend to be more closer to the city center than what they were in the past in some cities. Some cities had arenas all the way out in the middle of nowhere, like Cleveland. And the arena, Charlotte Coliseum, wasn't that really far away from downtown Charlotte, but it was too far, I guess. It was in the suburbs, but it was actually next to the Charlotte International Airport. Anyways, with such front office moves over the last 20-something years, oh man, the results have been mid for the Charlotte Hornets. As for the memory of the Charlotte Coliseum, well, this is what one former ticket holder said while referring to the Coliseum compared to what he wanted to see with the new arena. The energy in that building is what we're trying to get back into this building, speaking of the Spectrum Center. When you would leave the Charlotte Coliseum, the fans felt like they won or lost. They felt like they played the game. That's what he said.
Remember to hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future.
Since 2005, how can I put this? The Spectrum Center has been home to whatever NBA basketball team that plays inside, either for the Charlotte Bobcats or Charlotte Hornets. One of the staple pieces of Uptown Charlotte, as its history includes political oppositions, grassroots organizations, and the way it's seen as immoral. But we'll get to that soon. It was originally for the original Charlotte Hornets that would take its operations to New Orleans, and was replaced quickly the outdated Charlotte Coliseum. But as I write this, I was trying to hype up this arena, but there's nothing really to hype up this arena. This arena is, out of the 30 arenas, probably the least interesting and least exciting. Well, I did host the 2019 NBA All-Star Game. That came with some opposition. But let's get into part 2 of the Charlotte Hornets arena history, presenting the Spectrum Center. As said in previous videos, back in the early 2000s, Charlotte Hornets George Shinn became very unhappy with the Charlotte Coliseum for its lack of luxury amenities. And keep in mind that the arena was built, it was built when Shinn glazed the hell out of the Coliseum for its large capacity. The state-of-the-art scoreboard that crashed onto the floor, everybody remember that from part 1? Now, the Palace of Auburn Hills and the Charlotte Coliseum were both built and opened at the same time. But the Palace of Auburn Hills had 180 luxury suites where the Coliseum only had 8. That was very short-sighted as hell. In 2001, the city of Charlotte had a non-binding public referendum for what was called a arts package that included funds to build a new arena uptown and was placed on the ballot for voters. That was done to demonstrate what believed to be a widespread public support for the new arena construction. And it almost worked until the time the mayor, Pat McCrory, voted a living wage ordinance days before the referendum. Now, there was a grassroots organization that supported a living wage and launched a campaign to oppose the arena, calling it immoral for the city to build a new arena when the city's workers didn't earn enough to make a living. There you go. The referendum went bust. 43% for the arena, 57% opposed. But the city's leaders weren't done yet on this arena. Unfortunately, due to the unpopularity of George Sheen, the city's leaders would not build a new arena if Sheen was involved. As the owner of the Hornets, they actually wanted Sheen to sell the team, but he outsmarted them in a way by moving the team to New Orleans, even though the NBA knew Shin's popularity was at an all-time low, and I guess they didn't really care down to New Orleans. But the NBA did promise a new team in the city very soon for Charlotte. Thus, the city council and the county Charlotte is located in would approve the construction of the $260 million arena, even though that number has been disputed in past years. The new arena will be called, drumroll please, no drumroll please, the Charlotte Bobcats Arena.
That's boring. You're boring everybody. Quit boring everyone.
Yeah. Construction began July 29, 2003. The architects that were used to design the Coliseum was used for this arena as well. The architects wanted to bring, I guess, the city together since the location of the new arena is downtown, with a plan of a large outdoor plaza typical of most arenas today. Construction finished around late 2005, opening on October 21st, 2005 with their arena capacity of 19,000 for basketball, but can reach up to 20,000 for wrestling. But with concerts and hockey rings, the capacity shrinks. The arena opened with the largest scoreboard in the NBA, a center-hung scoreboard that featured a one-of-a-kind light-up 360 3D mural of the Charlotte skyline, and it did not crash to the ground. The concourses inside the arena will be filled with various artwork showing the concept of community in Charlotte. And the Bobcats' first game in the arena will come against the Boston Celtics in an overtime victory, but finished their second season in this arena because they played their first season in the Charlotte Coliseum, but finished their second season in the league 26-56, an improvement from the Bobcats' first ever season in the league. Also, a tidbit of information. By this time, the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan, had a minority stake in the Bobcats, becoming head of basketball operations. In 2006, the arena will find a new name, becoming the Time Warner Cable Arena from 2006 to 2016, before becoming its current name, the Spectrum Center, in 2016. At the time, Warner folded and Charter Communications, which Time Warner turned to Spectrum. Now, the arena hosted other attendants, such as two hockey teams named the Charlotte Checkers. Both the teams named the same thing, an ice hockey team from the AHL and a minor league team. The WNBA team as well, Charlotte Sting, for 1 year, and that was it. Events hosted in the arena, there have been the 2019 NBA All-Star Game, like mentioned, a game when Team LeBron beat Team Giannis by the final score of 178-64. Kevin Durant winning the MVP. Now, the arena was supposed to host the 2017 NBA All-Star Game, but lost the bid after the NBA opposition against the North Carolina's Public Facilities Privacy and Security Act, and we will not get into that. You have to look that up yourself. I'm not going to get into it on this channel. And the irony of this, the All-Star Game that year went to New Orleans. The irony. Other events, the arena has hosted the 2012 Democratic National Convention, the Kellogg's Tour of Gymnastics, UFC events, a few games for the University of Charlotte basketball team, NCAA tournaments, ACC tournaments, and Southern Conference tournaments. Plus, it was used to host graduations, but the Bobcats were charging Charlotte Mecklenburg schools $15,000 to host, but moved the graduations to Bojangles Coliseum instead. Plus, it has been featured on TV shows like One Tree Hill, Veep, and auditions for American Idol Season 12. Since its opening, the arena has undergone a few renovations and upgrades, such as a new scoreboard in 2016 costing $7 million. It's twice the size of the original. It can change multiple colors. Retractable auxiliary scoreboards installed at the corners of the upper floors. Renovations of suites, visitor locker rooms, and other rooms. In 2022, the city proposed a $245 million beautification of the arena with upgrades to the HVAC units, upgrades to the transit station nearby, and a new practice facility across the street that will be completed in 2027. So this is a question I want to state. How do the locals feel about this arena since 2005? Well, I couldn't get much. I could not get much. So I went to Google reviews for the arena, where it received 4.5 stars out of 5. The most comments was either saying that loving the atmosphere or either attending Hornets games or other events. Some have liked that the light rail next to the arena has been a delightful piece of transportation, easily accessible to get into. Some others say parking can be better, bathrooms are clean. But what I continued to see the most was the atmosphere during Hornets games has been pleasant despite the Hornets' shortcomings since becoming the Hornets in 2014. With this arena only hosting a couple NBA playoff games since 2016 for the Hornets at least. But the Bobcats did host playoff games in 2010, where the Bobcats finished 44-38 that season. In 2014, the last season for the Bobcats, 43-39. In all 3 playoff appearances for both the Bobcats and this version of the Hornets, I should say, in this arena, they only played the Magic and Heat. Played the Heat twice, played the Magic once. Lost all of them. The Hornets, as a franchise, has not been out of the first round probably since 2003. It's been that long. And probably going to be longer, depending on how they do this, regarding their new acquisitions they have gotten in the last week or so at the time of this video. But a matter of fact, the first playoff victory in this arena came April 23rd, 2016, when the Hornets won 96-80 against the Miami Heat, and winning again in the arena 2 days later with a final score 89-85. That's with Dwayne Wade on the team. But the series ended in 7 games in Miami. Out of all the arenas so far that I cover on this channel, the Charlotte Coliseum and the Spectrum Center have never hosted an NBA Finals game, nor even hosted an Eastern Conference Finals game, nor an Eastern Semifinals game, nor the Charlotte Hornets even got that far. Well, then again, Little Caesars Arena hasn't hosted an Eastern Conference Final game yet, or NBA Finals game, but Palace has done it. But it did host its first Eastern Conference Semifinals series this year between the Pistons and Cavs. And from public opinion, the Spectrum Center has been seen as a decent arena for the city of Charlotte. Now, the 1-star reviews that I have, there weren't that many that I saw, but they really had nothing to do with the arena. It's more of, complaints about the lack of good beer. Damn drunkards. But there was one complaint other than beer, and that was getting into the Spectrum Center. They said it was like getting into Forks Knox. But I think that's any NBA arena on game day. As of now, the Spectrum Center is going to be around for some time as it reaches its 20-year mark of existence and renovations. Can't say it's the same for its predecessor that couldn't even make it to 19 years despite having a lack of luxury suites. But I also can't say the same for its nearby neighbor in the Bank of America Stadium, home of the Charlotte Panthers. But that's a video for someone else to do.